I'm gonna hit record on this.
Okay.
So, dude, what's this ride been like for you? I mean, just watching, it seems like it's been pretty special.
Yeah, it's been special. I mean, it's been a lot of fun. Anytime you can, ask to or be asked to step up for your team and given a bigger role and opportunity, that's such a huge honor, and you want to try to make the best out of it. So that's what I've been trying to do.
Yeah, you ended the regular season on a hot streak with 2 picks towards the end and closing games out as coach called you out in one of the press conferences. And then you get a pick in the divisional round last week against Brady. Is there something as a defensive back that you just find yourself in a zone when you're looking at film and studying coverages that it's almost like a hot streak in baseball a little bit for a hitter?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of things got to kind of come together to get those interceptions, and a lot of communication goes into it and kind of understanding the defense. We got such a great team here, a lot of guys, a lot of smart football players. So all that communication kind of comes together into making big plays. But yeah, I mean, just kind of understanding how our defense works and wants to work, where our help is. So I've been able to capitalize on some of the opportunities with the ball coming my way.
Yeah, capitalize on opportunities. That could be like, if there was a definition of capitalize on opportunities in the dictionary, it might be a picture of you from the time you came to Penn State, making a switch and things like that. And I know like that kind of blew up on Twitter. Was it 2 weeks ago? It kind of blew up about you switching positions.
Yeah.
Wearing the blue and white and things like that. How did that actually go about? Like, I know you went to the coaches a little bit, but did you pick any of the safeties' brains, or was it, Coach Terry Smith, Tim Banks, maybe Brent Pry, that you kind of like planted a seed a little bit and then thought about it before fully going to them and saying like, hey guys, I kind of think I should play defensive back?
Yeah, it was actually Coach Smith where I initially planted the seed. I remember, I think it was Buffalo. I was a running back at the time. I had a pretty good kickoff return that game. That was kind of my mark at that point as a redshirt freshman. And I just remember Saquon having like an amazing game. And I remember like our coach, I think it was Coach Franklin or somebody was on the mic. He had jumped over somebody, and all I heard on the mic, or I saw one of the coaches on the mic like grab it and be like, "That is our running back. That's our running back right there." So I was like, "Oh man, like I know what it is now." Like, so I went up to Coach Smith joking, because I'm a guy that jokes around a lot. I love to have fun. But I was, there's a little truth behind every good joke. And I said to Coach Smith, I was like, "Hey man, let me know if y'all ever still have room in that DV room," just because, he was playing lights out ball. And so I kind of planted the seed at that point. Not really knowing that as the season progressed, I would start to feel more and more like it was the best way for me to contribute to the team would be to move positions.
You were number 24 at the time too.
I was number 24
the position switch came a new number and things like that. In your recruiting class going back there, one of your current teammates was actually in there, Troy Reeder.
Right.
Ended up leaving Penn State and going to Delaware to play with his brother and things like that. Did you guys ever talk about those moments? And is it weird how some things kind of come like full circle, that you guys come in together at Penn State, kind of branch out, and now you guys are like back together with the Rams?
Oh, yeah. We talk about it all the time. I give him a lot of crap all the time about it, just poking fun at him, joking around. Obviously, you talk about opportunities and doing what's best for yourself. He obviously made the right decision for what he felt was the best for his journey. And it worked out. So we've had that connection, which helps. We play together, have a great relationship. So I'm very proud and happy to see that he's having success and making the most out of his opportunity that he's been doing since his rookie year.
You make that switch to DB. I think it was second team All Big Ten or honorable mention All Big Ten your last year. You're drafted in the 7th round and stuff like that. I know you've talked about this, almost every single interview that you've done. So I'm sorry for like rehashing some of these things and everything. But, I called you the juice man when you were at Penn State. You were always excitable, and no matter what was going on, I always thought you were the emotional lift. When you go into the NFL and you're that 7th round draft pick and you're a rookie, on a very good football team in a very good football club that's kind of coming off a Super Bowl run and stuff. Did you have to change anything about Nick Scott going into the locker room? Was it more keep the head down, get to work, and prove yourself before that true personality of yourself comes out?
Yeah, I definitely think there's a little bit of that, just kind of, coming in and being established and known as a worker first. And then as you start to build relationships and trust with players and coaches, you let a little more and more of the freedom and I guess personality come out, which everybody is different. Everybody has their different methods. But that's kind of how I like to approach things, kind of come in and just establish myself the right way before I establish myself as the guy who jokes around and has a lot of fun in the locker room. But ultimately you don't ever want to, restrict yourself from being yourself and having fun. So I've had a great team here. The past 3 years I've been here, accepted me with open arms as soon as I walked in the building. So, never had any identity issues or anything like that. Just been like playing the game and having fun.
Did you ever think throughout your football journey, and I'm sure maybe, on the playground with your brothers or in the backyard or something like that, that you'd be picking off Tom Brady, to help your team get to the NFC Championship game, and you'd be one game away, from the Super Bowl. And during your football journey, did you ever doubt yourself? Say like, you know what, maybe I got to go a different path.
Right. No, I don't think I ever did. I never doubted that I would make it to the NFL. I never doubted that I would play at Penn State or contribute. The only reason why is because those are things that, I've always prayed about and prayed for, ever since I was a kid. So I always trusted God and knew that he would lead me on the path that I was supposed to be on, and always felt led to keep pursuing football, even though I didn't have an illustrious career at safety or anything like that. I just wanted to trust my plan and trust God, and he'd work everything out, and here I am.
Selling yourself short. You have one of the best tackles and I think fumble recoveries against Iowa on the goal line in the last 2 years. Like, those are plays that people remember, man.
I appreciate it. I try to leave my legacy wherever with the help of God.
I gotcha. Dude, what do you remember about Lancaster? I never knew you were from you grew up a little bit in Lancaster until you were already gone from Penn State. And I was like, this is a whole different line of questioning I could have had with them for 4 years.
Yeah. Oh man. Let's see. I was in Lancaster until I was about 11 years old. I attended Elizabeth Martin Middle School, I think just second grade. My brothers went to Roarstown. So I was kind of all over Lancaster. I spent time at Locust Grove. And had we not moved, probably would have funneled into LMH High School. So I remember a lot. We had a lot of good fun there. I unfortunately never got to play for the Tornadoes. I think it was Lancaster Tornadoes or McCaskey Tornadoes, something. The McCaskey's Little League football team. My brother did. So that's kind of where I fell in love with football, was at McCaskey and going to those games with my dad, who was the principal at the time. So yeah, I remember mostly about that, just those Friday nights, which I guess led to my pursuit of football and falling in love with it. And of course, playing in the area with my brothers and growing up with them.
We all have people that have and I know, from praying to God and leaning on people and teammates. Who are some of the people that you've leaned on, whether it was Coach Franklin at Penn State, or maybe it was even just like Troy or Marcus, or Grant, in the Penn State secondary that helped you with the transition. Maybe it was even talking to Saquon about going over and things like that.
Yeah, I would say initially when I first switched positions, one of the first guys I reached out to and started working with was Marcus Allen. He was a guy, actually, when I switched positions, I think that week we were in Lash indoor football facility at like 11 p.m. He was taking me through footwork and taking me through the plays and rotations and things like that. So he was a huge help in my initial getting my feet warm with the position before spring ball. And so he kind of was a huge part of why I felt comfortable with the defense when it was time to make that transition. Also a guy was Troy Apke. He was there for me a lot. Those guys are two of the guys that initially helped me with my transition to safety. No animosity or anything like that. They just, welcomed me with open arms into the position and did their best to make sure I was ready and able to contribute.
A little bit bigger picture here in kind of the game of life. You're going to be one of those guys now moving forward for a lot of young football players and a lot of young athletes, because for me looking at it, and again, I'm a little bit older guy, 35, the team aspect kind of is in youth sports all the way through kind of going away. It's all about being the guy. What's your advice to some of the younger athletes out there, that say like, listen, I was a guy, 7th round draft pick. I come in, I put my head down, I work. A guy at Penn State that I switch positions for the betterment of the team, because, it seems like those are becoming fewer and farther between.
Right. I would just say, trust your process and, trust the people around you who've been in the game a long time to kind of lead you and guide you in terms of your development. Put your pride to the side when it comes to, growing in some areas. Not everybody is necessarily ready to walk into an organization or a team or college and be a starter and be that guy. But at the same time, nobody can tell you that you can't be that guy. So as long as you trust your process, approach your work the right way, and be willing to fight through adversity, because adversity will come, then you should be all right.
I'm pulling you away from the important stuff. How much extra work are you guys putting in this week as the playoffs have moved on, as crunch time has moved on to the regular season? Is it more of a workload than week 1, week 2 of the season? You guys staying extra late and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think guys, everybody has kind of their own process. Some guys look at an opportunity like this, like, hey, we've gotten this far, like, why change now? Let me just keep my routine and my process. Some guys see this opportunity as a time to ramp it up and stay later, like you said, and do extra and things like that. I would say I'm kind of in between. I don't overkill it. I don't want to burn out, but at the same time, I do want to be a little bit, extra intentional about certain areas or aspects of the game, just to make sure I'm, in the best position to be successful on Sunday.
Fine tune your game. You look at Kupp. I mean, obviously he's the best. So guys throughout the league, it's a copycat league. They're going to look at him to see how he does things. So do you kind of like study him when you have a brief moment to maybe say like, oh, this might be something somebody else is picking up on to make yourself a better defensive back?
Yeah, I mean, I think for sure, like you said, it's a copycat league. So, taking a look at things that plays that have a lot of success around the league. Maybe in the previous week, our coaches do a great job in kind of creating cut-ups of that and making sure we're prepared for anything, because, if something has success, you guys want to win on Sunday, usually some things will be repeated and come up.
Just last one I got for you. Compare, it's a divisional game. You're playing a rivalry game, things like that. We're excited to have it on Fox and everything. Compare the atmosphere in the locker room for a rivalry game in the NFL compared to, Ohio State, Penn State, whiteout game that you're kind of getting ready for.
Oh yeah. I mean, once you reach a certain level of like high energy like that, it's kind of hard to see a difference. There's few things that compare to Penn State whiteout, but a divisional game or a conference game, and I imagine the conference championship will probably be right there with it. So I'm excited. Anytime you get to play in an environment like that, it's a blessing. So I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, just smile a couple of times. I think that was the biggest one when I just mentioned the whiteout that you had. So, dude, I really appreciate you taking the time. I know you got way more important stuff to worry about. I'm pulling for you. Everybody that covered Penn State when you were here, pulling for you and everything.
I appreciate it, man.
So, all right, man. Thanks a lot.
I appreciate you. Take care.
Yep, have a good one, dude.
All right.